Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and 2015 is over, but a lot of people have been writing in asking me what my top picks were for the last year, and I reviewed a ton of stuff in 2015, and I went through and looked at some of the things that I really like so much that I've integrated them into my life. So these are the items that I think are the best of the best, although we did see a lot of things that I could definitely recommend to folks, but these things I'm actually using. So we're going to start with number 10, and that is the Sony AX33 4K camcorder. This is an excellent camcorder, not very expensive in the grand scheme of things, high bit rate, excellent optical stabilizer. In fact, I have to do a follow-up video on it. It is so good that I really want to focus more on that particular feature because it's a really just an excellent device, and I use that as part of my field kit whenever I'm going out on a remote shoot, which I don't do as often as I have been, but when I do, that camera is with me because it is just fantastic. So can't recommend that Sony camcorder enough. Number 9 is the GPD XD Android gaming handheld, and it looks just like the Nintendo 3DS. They almost completely ripped off its design, but it is an Android device that is perfect for retro game emulators, a nice performing rock chip processor on board. Really quite happy with that, and I'm using it every once in a while when I need my retro game fix if I'm on the road or just not near my computer or other device. So great little handheld if you're looking for a good game player. It is definitely going to check that box for you. Number 8 is the Logitech K830 keyboard. I have it right here on the desk because I use this thing all the time. What's nice is that it's got an integrated trackpad, backlit keyboard. It works over Bluetooth as well as its little USB dongle. It works for just about everything you can plug it into. And what's nice too is that somebody wrote in with a tip that if I hit the function key and push the left mouse button, I can get rid of the tap to click, which is actually on a hairpin on these things. It's my biggest gripe with it. That's been resolved and I'm quite happy with it. There's another one called the K410, I believe, that we looked at a couple of weeks ago. It's only 20 bucks. So if you don't want to splurge for the expensive one, the cheap one is actually just as good. Just doesn't have the Bluetooth or the backlighting, but otherwise it should work out pretty well for you there. So great keyboard system there. Number 7 is the Moto X Pure edition or Style edition. It's got two different names depending on which country you live in. This is a great and affordable cell phone from Motorola. What's really nice about it for me here in the US is that it works on every carrier we have here in the States. So I can take out my SIM card from my iPhone, pop it in this thing, it pulls up the Verizon network without issue. If I go overseas, I can grab a GSM SIM card, put that in there, and it'll work just as well. It's one of the few phones in the market that actually does all of that as far as the carrier compatibility is concerned, and it's a very nice phone with a great camera on board too. I'm really very happy with that. Number 6 is the Apple Watch. I wasn't expecting to even put this on my list this year because I wasn't all that enthused learning about it, but once I got it and started using it, it kind of grew on me to the point now that it's almost an appendage that I really don't want to be without anymore. I use a lot of messaging features on here, especially when I'm in the house and I don't know where my phone is. I can respond to things, I can send text messages, obviously, I can answer the phone. A lot of things that I just didn't expect would be useful really have become useful for me, and I am really quite pleased with it. The fitness tracker on here is excellent. I really like Apple Pay on this. That's one of the cool things, is to be able to walk into the local sandwich shop or something, tap the button on here, put my wrist up to the reader, and I am out the door without having to give away any of my personal information to that merchant. A really awesome feature that works fantastically. So I'm not doing anything all that crazy or different with my Apple Watch, but it really has become very useful, and I actually prefer it. I've used Android Wear. I actually prefer what Apple has done with their watch to what I've seen so far on Android Wear, but of course the year here in 2016 is still young. Number 5 are these portable SSD drives that both Samsung and Sandisk are making, and I'm going to probably just lump both of those in because they're both very good. The Sandisk is a little bit easier to configure, but what's been great about these is that they're very small but full functioning solid state drives that just plug into a USB port without having to get any additional apparatus or SSD drives to plug into anything. It's very lightweight, very fast, almost pretty much as fast as any solid state disk you might buy for your computer, and I found them to be incredibly useful. I have one designated as a Windows to Go boot drive, which I'm using now for a lot of the machines that I'm testing here on the channel. So fantastic products. If you don't have one, get one. You can check out both reviews for a little bit more information on that. Number 4 is the new 12-inch MacBook, and I love this thing more. Again, another Apple product I didn't expect to fall in love with, but I have. And what's great about this is that it doesn't weigh all that much more than my iPad, yet it is a fully functional Macintosh computer that can do everything my Big Mac can do, just a lot slower. So it does have that Core M processor. I can get a majority of my work done. I even edited a few videos on it. The video editing is not the fastest in the world, but it is definitely capable of doing the kinds of edits that I do here on the channel, and I've been really quite pleased with it because it is so lightweight. The battery lasts forever. It is an exceptionally well-designed product, with the exception of only having that single USB port. They need more ports on it. Hopefully the next iteration will have that put together. So MacBook is number 4. Number 3 is the iPhone 6s. This is without question the best smartphone or any phone I have ever owned. They have made a substantial improvement in its performance over the iPhone 6. The camera, everything on this thing is just great, and I use it every single day, and I think Apple has done a tremendous job on it. Again, another expensive thing when you compare it to something like the Moto X or whatever, but for me, it works fantastic every day. I need it, and it really is a part of everything I do, and it really integrates well with all my other products. And yes, I am an Apple person, but I do appreciate some things on the Windows and Android side. But for me, I found really in the course of my experience as a geek for the last 40 years here almost, that Apple products, at least in the near term here, have just been giving me a lot less aggravation, which is why I use them, because my time is very limited with all the things that I have in my life. And what's great about the iPhone and the Mac and the iPad is that all those things just work when I need them to, and they often don't have too many issues either. And this new iPhone is fantastic. Number 2, though, is an Android device, the Nvidia Shield TV. I love this thing. I use it every single day. It is my go-to media player. I've got 2 of them. I got one upstairs and one downstairs. Fantastic gaming platform, fantastic media streamer, incredibly fast, incredibly capable. Without question, the best set-top box on the market, especially if you're an enthusiast like me, and I suspect like you, if you are a subscriber to the channel, you really can't go wrong with this thing. It's going to get better this year because I'm sure we'll see a Marshmallow update at some point, but the other thing that I'm really looking forward to is that they are bringing in all the things that home theater buffs are really looking for. So high-end digital audio formats along with the 23.976 frame rate playback also, which is 2 very critical things that home theater people are looking for. And right now, the only box that I've been able to find that really does both of those things very well is the aging WD TV. And I think the Shield will probably take the place of that very shortly. So it's really a box that can do just about everything I do, and stream games from my PC for that matter too. So really exciting to see what is in store for this product in 2016. A great set-top video player. And number 1 on the list is the Kangaroo Mini PC. This is an exceptional low-end PC. We love looking at these little mini PCs on the channel. This is by far the best one we've looked at, partly because it performs so well with the Cherry Trail processor, but also its price, $99, and you've got yourself a fully functional and very usable Windows PC with a fingerprint reader, no less. Really impressed with it. There certainly will be other PCs with the same processor power in the same price scope, I'm sure, as we move through the year here. But I think this one is really the one to beat because it's got a reputable company behind it, InFocus, the projector manufacturer, and they really did everything right with this thing. I think it's a really nicely constructed product. It even has a battery on it, so if a kid pulls the power out from it, it'll run for a couple hours before it totally dies on you. So they put a lot of neat features on it, very usable, and I think for a lot of families who couldn't afford a computer or multiple computers for everyone that might be in the house, we're getting to a point now where I think a lot of people can. This is a great Windows PC and certainly worthy of the top spot of all the things I have looked at this year, especially given the things that I tend to gravitate towards as a reviewer of technology. I love things that are affordable and very usable and functional as compared to more expensive things, and this one is certainly doing it for me. So that is my big list of 2015 items that I felt were the best things that I'm actually using. I'd love to hear what you thought and maybe some things I should maybe think about adding to my review list for 2016, so definitely leave me some comments below. I apologize for all the Apple products, but I'll tell you what, they make good stuff and they get me every time. Maybe I'm just a fanboy, but there are some Android things that made the list this year, and I am definitely a multi-platform reviewer. So we'll see what happens in the coming year. I'm looking forward to seeing all the cool stuff that we haven't even thought about yet. I'll be keeping an eye on CES from this chair this year. I'm not going there this year, but I will be getting a lot of product briefs from a number of manufacturers in the coming days, and I'll tell you about all the cool things that I am looking forward to reviewing in the next couple of days. We'll talk soon. This is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching. This channel is brought to you by the generosity of my Patreon supporters. If you find the channel helpful, you too can contribute for as little as $1 a month. Visit Lon.TV/Patreon to learn more.